What's going on, guys? I talked about doing some more sharpening videos. This is not a folding knife video, but I do want to touch this knife up. It's already pretty sharp, but this is my 500 grit stone. And honestly, this is the only stone that I've used as long as I've had this knife and sharpened this knife. And it's been enough, but I've got some time, so I want to try to put it on the 2000 grit stone I have, as well as the 8000 grit stone, and then possibly even the strap, which is across the room. So I'll show you kind of how sharp the knife is to begin with. Like I said, it's you can see this is my edge. You can see it's not the best, but it's not the worst. And you can see that cladding. You can see the other side here. And you can see that's all my sharpening. It got a little crazy up here at the tip. And back here at the heel, I could use a little bit of work on both sides, but this is the sharpness of the knife as it stands right now. It's plenty sharp for anything that you would need to do, but like I said, I just want to go a little bit farther than I have in the past. So I'm just going to kind of, if you notice there was some oxidation on this edge, I just want to kind of knock that oxidation off. So I'm just going to do a few passes on here just to kind of warm up. Now, what I do, and this is just how I sharpen my kitchen knives, and some of these things will carry over to the folding knives, some of them won't, but I pinch the knife between my index finger and my thumb, just like I would if I was going to use the knife to cut something, and then I just wrap my fingers around. I want to lock my wrist. I want to lock my wrist into position, and I am going to find my angle, which, you know, once you've sharpened a knife a few times, that's one of the things I find that kind of works to your favor, your advantage. It's already pretty much reprofiled to whatever your muscle memory is. So that's one of the good things about sharpening a knife a few times. Oh, that's one of the things I also want to do. I've noticed that on this side of the knife, the left side of the knife, if you're looking down the knife like this, when I put the knife on the stone, it's up a little bit more at an obtuse angle, more of an obtuse angle than when I'm sharpening on this side, the reverse side, the right side of the knife. So I also want to kind of try to slightly reprofile it. So we'll see how that goes. I already put some water on here. This is a Sharpening glass stone, if I didn't mention that. It's a splash and go stone. You don't have to soak it. These are ceramic stones. So I'm just going to start. Like I said, I'm going to find my angle. I'm going to put minimal pressure on here, and I'm just going to go back and forth. And like I said, you just want to kind of find that angle that you had and just repeat that. And you can see I am removing some steel. I did notice, honestly, that there is some dishing of this stone. I do need to go ahead and flatten this stone a little bit. So I will be doing that. But other than that, these stones have been pretty good for me. So I'm going to look at my work. Yeah, you can see how pretty much all the way down that bevel, I hope you can see, that oxidation has been removed. So it should be pretty good to go, but I'm just going to focus on this a little bit more. Like I said, it doesn't really need to be resharpened, but I might as well. I'm right here. I'm going to work on this heel a little bit more. And I do go back and forth. I know some guys don't. Some guys either do edge trailing, which is when you push up like this. Few people, they talk about breaking that burr off with an edge leading stroke, which would be this way. I just go back and forth. I don't really worry about it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I've had pretty good results. You could see how sharp the knife was. It's not the prettiest edge ever in the world, but that's not really what I'm personally going for. So I just want to feel, yeah, I can feel where there's a little bit of a burr. So like I said, I want to kind of lay this down a little bit more than I have before. Now, when I grip the knife like this is the other thing. I only use my right hand. A lot of guys will switch hands. I only use my right hand. That's just how I prefer to do it. Yes, I know switching hands may be better. And you know, better is one of those conditional words, but I prefer to use just my right hand. So I'm going to grip the knife like I tend to pinch the tang more like this instead of actually how I'm going to cut with the knife when I flip over. I tend to kind of not necessarily wrap my fingers around the knife as much. They're not wrapped around as much. And I'm just going to, again, try to find that angle. I want to lay it down just a touch more than I usually do. And the big problem here is I can't get as far down on the heel of the knife. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So I'm gonna have to work on that, but we'll work on this part first. And it's the same motion. I'm just going back and forth and back and forth. And again, some guys, they prefer edge leading. Some guys prefer edge trailing. I don't really care. Some guys, you know, there's the back and forth with the burr removal. I pretty much just feel until I've removed that burr. You know, every knife is a little bit different. Every sharpening is a little bit different. I am in a second. I am going to go ahead and rinse this stone off. I'm going to come down here like this so I can get the heel of this knife. And one thing that I didn't mention is you want to try to use as much of your stone as possible, so that way, as you are wearing your stone down, you're wearing it more evenly. So let's check that out. I do feel like at the tip and at the heel, I've flipped that burr over some, but in the middle, I don't feel like I have flipped that burr. So let's go back to the middle. I'm using minimal pressure. I am going to go ahead and rinse this stone off in just a second. I can tell you, I've already gone back to that steeper angle. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. You know what? I'm sharpening the wrong side of the knife, guys. Let's go back to this side. Sorry about that. So let's just kind of focus in. One of the things that I do that works to my benefit of having larger hands is, as you can see, I can kind of spread my fingers out a little bit more, but you do want to be very careful because you can get close to that edge. And once you get close to that edge, you're at risk of cutting yourself. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. I'm going to go ahead and try to rinse this stone off some. Again, it's a splash and go. You know, not that once you soak a soaking stone, it's not good to go, but we just want to keep some water on here. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and give it a few passes on this side. Give it a few passes on the other side. Making sure I get this tip in. Going to check my work out here. Looks pretty good on both sides. I'm going to dry this knife off and we will see how it cuts. Let's check that out pretty quickly. So you saw how I cut the first time. Let's check it out. So it's even cleaner It's even cleaner cutting now, which you can hear in that higher, kind of a higher pitched sound as the knife moves through the material. So I'm gonna take this off of here. I'm going to grab my 2000 grit stone. This is, like I said, the first time I'm using these stones. So I just usually pour some or let some water run onto the stone. Feels like there's something on there. Let some water run onto the stone, and once the stone is covered in water, I turn the water off, and we are ready to start. So I typically start, and this is just my kind of habit. I start on this side of the knife. So we're going to go back. We're going to find that angle. And again, I'm not applying a lot of pressure. I can tell you right off the bat, this stone feels a lot creamier. The knife feels like it's just gliding over the surface. It doesn't feel like there's much abrasion at all, which obviously there is, because you can see the black marks on the stone, which show you that steel is being removed. So I'll make a few more passes here, and then we'll kind of see if there's a difference in the finish. And hopefully we're maintaining our angle, and hopefully we're keeping this thing as sharp as it was when it came off of the first stone. So it looks a little cloudy, a little hazy. I don't know if you guys can kind of make that out. It does feel like there is a little bit of a burr, so I'm going to come down this way. And again, I'm trying to kind of lay this edge back a little bit more on this side, trying to kind of make them match a little bit more. So hopefully everything is lining up, and we'll kind of check our progress in a minute. Again, I am just making sure I'm getting down here at this heel. You saw when I first pulled the knife out, you saw how that heel could use a little bit more work. So let's see. I am noticing at this angle a little bit more of a polish on the bevel. So we'll see how it comes off of here. Okay, let's check this side out. Yeah, there's definitely more polish here. Let's rinse this off. Let's feel for a burr. It even feels a lot creamier when I'm rubbing my hand over it now that I've used the stone a little bit. So let's see, we finished on this side, which would mean the burr would be on this side. I don't quite feel a burr, but let's see what we got here. Let's just do a few more passes on this side. And then I'll come back, and then I will come back over to the other side. And you can see this is taking off some steel, even though it is at the 2000 grit, which, you know, we think about 2000 grit and we tend to think about that more in the way we think about our traditional stones, more like the diamond stones we use on our pocket knives. And these, they tend to be a little bit finer. So even at the 500 grit I was using before, it's not kind of like that traditional 600 grit DMT stone that you would be using. So we're going to run this on this side one more time. And if you guys can hear that, that's my dog. He's on his bed and he's making quite a bit of commotion. So let's see. Let's just run over here a few more times. lighter pressure than I even used before. Just kind of trying to knock any burr off that we might have. Oh yeah, I can already feel the difference in sharpness. Yeah, I can already feel the difference in sharpness from that 500 grit stone. So let's wipe this off. I will show you guys. I think you can kind of see that mirror polish start to come up, especially on this side. Let's grab this paper, same sheet of paper. Uh-oh. So you can see it's pretty sharp. I'll move on up to my 8,000 grit stone here, and I'll repeat the same exact process. I'm not going to edit this video down or anything like that. So I know you guys said you wanted to see sharpening, but I also know that videos tend to get a little bit long when you're sharpening. So I have no clue how long this video has been going, but yeah, there's that. So I'm just going to run this over this 8,000 grit stone real quick. We'll finish it up. I may grab my strap real quick, but let's just see. And this is even creamier yet. This feels almost like, man, it's just like it's gliding across the stone. So there's definitely a difference in feel from that 500 grit to this stone here. So very interesting. You can see that not as much steel is coming off of the knife, which is to be expected. We moved from 500 grit to 2,000 grit, and now we are at 8,000 grit. And again, 8,000 grit is finer than what you traditionally think about. And that really is bringing up a mirror finish on our knife. So let's hit this side. And we'll be finished. Again, I'm trying to kind of lay this angle back some, trying to make it more acute. I tend to have a little bit of difficulty here on this side when I sharpen with the difference in the angles. So I am trying to fix that. I also need to make sure that I am using all of my stone and I am sharpening all of the edge of my knife. So I think I kind of skimped out on the tip here. So let's make sure that we're hitting everything. All right, let's come back on this side. Even lighter pressure now. Before I was just barely using a little bit more than hand pressure. This hand, just a little bit more than hand pressure. So you can really see that mirror start to come up now. So let's just make a few more single passes. Let's see, let me get my spot down. That's what happens when you start to switch up your technique. You start to do things a little bit differently, and that can mess you up. So that feels pretty sharp. I'll wipe this off. I'll show you kind of what edge I have. I think you can see, I hope it's coming across, where now we really have much more of a mirror finish. Let's see. There's a lot more of a mirror finish on this edge than we had before. There we go. Pretty much all the way to the tip. I'm sure I have some issues out at the tip. I'm not any type of professional, guys, and I'm not claiming to be. I'm just sharing this video with you guys. You said you wanted to see some more. So you can see there. Let's go ahead and grab another piece of phone book paper. And actually, I got a phone book in the mail the other day. I could not believe it. So I think you can hear the difference. I mean, it's very, very smooth as it cuts through. You can hear a much higher pitch noise than in the beginning. That lets you know that this edge is much more refined. So I'm very happy with that. I don't know, we're already at 20 minutes. I'm gonna say the ending here. I'm gonna grab the strap, and if you want to watch it, you can just stay on. Remember, a lazy man carries a dull knife, and remember, don't be a dumb person with a smartphone. And I'm gonna run and grab my strap real quick. All right, here we go. And this is just Ken Schwartz 1 micron CBN spray. And I am just going to give it a few passes. And I can already tell that there's a big difference here as far as how it feels when it's running across this strop. It usually feels a little more, there's a little more resistance, but I can tell that it's a lot smoother this time. So I'm just going to give it another pass or two, and then we'll try it again. We'll see what kind of difference, if any, that this made. And I'm really just using the pressure of the knife, guys. I'm not even using much pressure at all. So you can see it's very, very sharp. So I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next video.